It is very nice to have a topic that is non-business oriented for change. And also it is very crucial to shed the light on the importance of the mind and body relationship and how important it is. What it is that we need to create that balance is what we're going to be touching upon today, amongst other details that are related to a mind and body transformation. As we always say, the proof is always in the pudding. So you talk and you preach about things, but when you actually have living proof in front of you, and especially when it's related to the transformation of an actual person internally and externally, this is what really excites everyone. And so the beauty of today's session is it's not only just going to be about relaying information and creating awareness, but it's also about shedding the light on the proof that this transformation can happen if you set your mind and if you're determined to do so. So without further ado, I would like to welcome everybody again. Thank you for joining us to today's session. With me today are two very special guests. I have Marcelino Jabrail, who is the founder, life and executive coach at Euphoria Empire. And I have Nadine Shammas, who is not only a member of the Dubai Business Women Council, as I can proudly say, but also the founder of the Life Director. Our special guests are going to take you through that journey by shedding the light on the educational aspect as well as the practical aspect behind this. So thank you so much, Nadine and Marcelino, for joining us today. I'm very excited for the session. And without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nadine, for the lovely introduction and warm welcome. And it's a huge honor for me to be here today. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing great today. Today is about transformation, about positive change. It's about taking action. Today is about a journey, one that never ends. So let me introduce myself a little bit more. So Dima, can you help me with that, please? Can you share your screen so we can talk a little bit about how I started and why I'm here today? So I started in 2005 when I was 112 kilograms at that time. And I decided to change my life and start modeling. And I knew to do so, I just needed to do some transformation on my physiology. So I decided and I did a full transformation in just 3 months where I lost 27 kg, believe it or not, and I became 85 kilograms. And so I started modeling in 2007 and everything changed. That was the beginning of my holistic and transformational mindset. And if I was able to discover and do that at the age of 18, I believe anyone can do. So it all starts with the right mindset. When I changed my mindset, I was able to start my fitness journey in 2010 in a professional way, of course, where I did my trainings between USA and Beirut, and that most of you know. And I started in 2000, I believe, 12, my dancing career. So I started in Miami. And I always knew working on my physical was never enough, that truly to become my best self, I had to integrate mind, body, and soul all together and make it work in one harmony. And if you can see in the slides, the transformation that I've been throughout my journey, where I know by now, whenever I wanted to change something in my life or add anything to my career, I don't give 50% or even 100%, but I give 500% from my energy. And this is why I succeed in achieving all my goals. Transformation comes in two forms: from within, where you find your purpose, and the other one comes from inspiration, when you get inspired from other people, from things in your life that you want to achieve, and you decide to change. And that's why I decided to move into life coaching with Noble Manhattan Coaching, that is based in the UK, because you can never achieve any goal unless you put your mind, your energy, your focus, your determination, your consistency, your dedication, and your discipline into it. and your body will always follow. It starts with the mind, and your body always is following what your mind wants. And that's why we are here today, because this can be you, any one of you. I've been working in direct contact with people, especially with women, for like 13 years in a row now. And it's been a hell of a journey. I cannot tell you how hell it is. It's not hell in a bad meaning. It has both sides. Well, to work with women, you have to be dedicated for that, and you have to love working with people in general, and you have to understand the way they think. It's not easy for us as people, as not people, as man. It's not easy to understand women. So after a while, I was familiar with it, and I'm aware that now at this point of my life, that women can be the best human being that you can ever deal with. Of course, if they want to, and if you don't trigger them emotionally, because be sure they will make you suffer. So now, I can tell you about when we transform people physically and or mentally, they always resist. They don't like to change. No one loves change. I mean, everyone loves change, but no one is willing to change. So after experience, I found a formula that will help people to make this transformation. And today I coach on 3 different levels: mind, body, and soul. So if you can see with the slides, I can see them. I will be telling you today in a very scientific way why people don't change, and why, if they do it for a very short time and they go back to their old self. And I will be explaining as well what you can do and how to implement things in your daily routine. So we all look for something exciting in our life, for something to inspire us, for a purpose to wake us up in the morning and to keep us motivated and looking forward for the next day. So now let's look into success, wealth, happiness, health, career. And the most important thing is to have fun during the process, because if it's not fun, it's gonna be hell. So let's go, let's start. How many in this audience believe in the idea that our thoughts have something to do with your life? Anyone believe that? So we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. And out of 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, 90% are the same thoughts as the day before. So then, would you agree with me that the same thoughts will lead to the same choices, and same choices lead to the same actions and behaviors, and same action and behavior lead to or create the same experience, and this same experience produce the same feelings and emotions? So then our thoughts create our reality, and how you think, how you act, and how you feel are your personality, and your personality creates your personal reality, which is who you are. So people always define themselves. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. This is not me. I don't feel like myself. So my question is, when did you define yourself? How many years ago did you come up with what you could and you couldn't do in your life? If you look at your life right now, it's based on a set of standards or beliefs. Some of them were set not even by you. And most of the times, we made decisions and choices in our youth or at very young age about what to believe, about what we are capable of, and who we are as a person. And it become a glass ceiling that controls us. So when people can do something at a very young age, they condition themselves this way. So they don't even try anymore. They limit themselves and they think it's just how they are. They say that's the way it is in my life. And I want you now to take a look at any place you have a limitation and ask yourself, when did I decide to accept that limitation? And you might think it's not even limitation. You might say it's just who I am. So now I want you to take a look about this activity. We have just 1 minute. It's gonna be very quick. So I want you to take out your change. Okay, I want you to specify below a change in something that you wanna do. You just have to say the change I'm aiming for is, and just say what you want to change in your life. You have 30 seconds. So just to write down in front of you, what is the change that you are aiming for? And later on, we will see why. So joy comes, my friends, when you are spontaneous. A big part of my work is to get people to do something spontaneously without even thinking about it. That's when the real you shows up, and that's when the energy comes alive. So now there's energy available for you to set a higher standard for what you want in your life. I know there have been areas in your life where at some point in time you just shifted and you raised your standard and your life changed after that. And if you look at your physical body, it is an absolute reflection of one thing, only one thing, not more. Not your goals, not your desires, but your standards. If your standard is to be an athlete, then there is certain amount of strength, muscle tone, and energy that's available in your body on a regular basis. So you do whatever is necessary to maintain that identity. And this identity must stay consistent with how we define ourselves, because if you don't know who you are, you would not act. Once you lock in on that identity, your brain finds a way to keep you there. And you don't just get results without some kind of action. We call it ritual, without some form of ritual. Ritual meaning action that you make every single day. And now, do you think people that are out there working out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times during, like, sometimes there is people that make twice 2 works out during the day. Do you think that people out there have time more than you do? Or I have more time than anyone else? There is a life less busy. Do you believe that? Of course not. It's just a must for them. They must work out that way, and they made that turn, and their life changed. I'm not saying that you have to work out 5 times a week or 6 times a week. I'm just saying whatever you really want in your life, you can do it once. You would have to be consistent, because once does not meet consistency, but standards do. So once you decide to change how you live, you raise your standards, and you take the huge challenges, and you break them down into small little steps that you do each day, and they become rituals. So now, rituals conditions our body and emotions to do things every single day, and rituals define us. All the results in your life are coming from your rituals. They start with a standard, and then you have rituals that follow. Having a ritual in the morning to put shoes on and go for a run every morning, then is different than going to Starbucks and having a sugar muffin. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying there are different rituals. So now, to create a new personal reality, a new life, and to transform, you would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and change them. And you would have to observe your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past, and decide if those emotions belong in your future. So many people try to create a new personal reality, a new life, but at the same personality, but it doesn't work. It never works. You literally have to become someone else. So your brain is organized to reflect everything you know. It's a record of the past and all of the things that you have learned and experienced till this moment. So you do the exact same thing every single day. But my question is, did your brain change at all that day? So if you think the same thoughts, which means you perform the same unconscious habits and actions and behaviors, meaning you live by the same emotions every single day, and you are insane enough to secretly expect your life to change. You can never change if you perform the same actions. So to change is to be greater than your environment. Please be careful about what I'm saying now. To change is to be greater than your environment. To change is to be greater than your body. To change is to be greater than time. And out of my experience, your outer environment is the first problem that you would have to fix in order to achieve any goal you want. Because people start judging you no matter what you do. So you would have to be very resilient. So now I want you to take a look at question 2. I want you to look at the stages 1 to 6, and write down where do you think you are right now from all stages. A lapse period is when it comes to an end or you feel stuck, which is okay. It does happen sometimes. Don't worry about that. 30 seconds. Somehow you feel stuck, you want a change, but you feel that you are repeating yourself, and that's totally okay. Please write this down in front of you. So there is a principle in neuroscience that says nerve cells that fire together wire together. So as we agreed, the same thoughts lead to the same feelings and emotions that stamp same network of neurons into the same patterns and then produce the same emotions. So every time you repeat it, those circuits begin to become more connected, and you are going to hardwire your brain into a very finite signature that becomes your identity. So at the age of 35 years old, which is my age now, we become a set of memorized behaviors, unconscious habits, automatic emotional reactions, beliefs and perceptions, even attitudes that function just like a computer program. And the repetition of those actions conditions your body to do it better than the mind. And that's what we call a habit. When you do something over and over again, and your body knows how to do it better than the mind. So basically, there is 5% of the conscious mind is working versus 95% of behaviors which are subconscious mind. But what is conscious mind? Conscious mind is everything you currently think about with full awareness. What is the subconscious mind or unconscious mind? So two things. It can be innate or from any ritual or habit, you call it. You practice every day, just like a computer that works as a computer programs behind the scene of your mind. So when we are born, we already have a program downloaded in our subconscious mind, like breathing system, circulation, etc. That's we call innate. It comes when you are born directly. So also when you have a bad traumatic experience, it is stored as a program in the subconscious mind that turns into a limitation. So most people then, at a certain moment in their life, they stop learning and they start feeling. And to change, it means that you have to come out of your comfort zone. But I don't call that comfort zone. I call what is familiar. This is so familiar to your brain, to your mind. So your brain loves what is familiar and will work on taking you to that familiar, to what is familiar for you. So if you decide today to become more fit, so your mind will do its best to keep you in the familiar zone, which is not fit. And you will start feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Every time you try to change, you will start feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And when we feel uncomfortable, most people prefer to go back to that familiar identity. Now, when the mind and body are working together, that's what we call a state of being, your personal reality or your personality. So now, as I said, 95% of who we are by the age of 35 is a set of memorized behavior, which is the subconscious running behind the scenes of our awareness. Let me give you an example. When you go to the ATM machine or you want to dial a phone number, you forget your PIN, but your fingers can remember it. You practiced it so many times, your body knows how to do it better than the brain. So by the age of 35, you pretty much figured it all out neurologically. You become hardwired. So now, the funny thing is that person wants to think positively because it's a trend and everyone around us are telling you, like you can see it every single day, hey, stay positive, think in positive way. And it goes a trend, like a trend. And they have been thinking in a negative way for the past 25 years because they are hardwired this way. And they want to create a new life, but they feel guilty. That's what we call mind and body in opposition. Mind and body working in opposition, like differently. We would have to recondition the body to a new mind. And the good news is we can help you do that because it's doable. You can reprogram your mind. When the body becomes the mind, then remember how I said change is to think greater than body. What I mean by that is to think greater than the memorized emotions the body has become familiar with. So you would have to become to think greater than those emotions. So here where emotional intelligence comes in. So we have two kinds of memories. The first one is when you get a new experience, first kiss, first hike with your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. You see here, you remember it because it was your first experience. It was new for you. It was a new experience. You keep remember it because it's new. And the other one, it is it is the kind that is connected to trauma, disease, crisis, diagnosis, loss, etc., anything. So people remember this more than anything else. And if you have not overcome some emotion that keep you anchored to the past, and you keep validating and saying, hey, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And then from a biological perspective, if you keep talking about it and validating to yourself, it means you haven't been able to change for the past 15, 20, 30 years ago, and you are still the same person. So 50% of what you thought about in your past, you make it up because you don't have the same brain you had 15 years ago. Then your brain and body are typically living in the past. So then now, how do people change? That's the question. They wait for a crisis, trauma, diagnosis, disease, loss, disappointment, anything. And they start feeling uncomfortable. And they finally make up their mind to change. Why? Because after trauma or crisis or disease, they don't feel like themselves anymore. And they start observing themselves through the eye of someone else. Do you know what happens when you get chased by a lion? So we turn on a nervous system called fight or flight. So when you see a lion, you have three options. It's either you fight back, it's either you run away, or you freeze and hide. And your energy is all mobilized to prepare you for some threat in your external environment. And all your focus will be on three things only three things. Your body, you think where I'm taking my body to hide. Time, how much time do I have left? And then the environment, which is objects, places, in general, the three dimensions around you. So you would have to think, where are you taking yourself? But now, if you are thinking on firing an employee, and you know this person really needs their job more than the other person that is going to stay, and you begin to think about that over and over again, you are turning the stress response just by thought alone. Stress is when the body is knocked out of balance. And the repetition over time keeps the body out of balance, and that chronic stress causes us to head for a disease. Because no organism in nature can survive under long-term stress, or what I call emergency mode. So if you can relate any stress-related disease, do you know any? Blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, cancer. So, and this is a very detailed topic that we can discuss another time. I will tell you exactly how is it related. So most people live in stress, and when we live in stress, we live in survival mode. The stress response is what the body does innately to return itself back to order, because every organism in nature has the ability to adapt to environmental conditions and produces a chemical that change to deal with emergency. So we can all have 15 minutes stress, like chemical stress. There is no problem in that. So, but the problem is the long-term stress, and that is when the body keeps being knocked out of balance and it doesn't have the chance to return back to order. So we have all kinds of different stressors that you live in your daily life: internet connection, traffic, single parenting, bills, dues, etc. Whatever you can name it. So there is nothing wrong with having emotional reaction to things in your life. That's pretty much life, right? It's just the repetition of those that keep the body out of balance. And as you know, your body, as your unconscious mind, does not know the difference between an actual event that produces a reaction and an experience that you create just by thought alone. So if you keep mobilizing that all of this energy that you have for a threat that is real or imagined, there is no energy then for internal repair. And so if two cancer cells get together and they want to start a family or community, all of the troops are fighting a war in the external environment that is imagined or even real. It doesn't really matter for the body. There is no energy for growth and repair in the internal environment. Those chemicals of stress are highly addictive. They give us a rush of energy. So we begin to associate the problems and the conditions of our lives with feeling alive. So we begin to subconsciously keep the problems, the bad relationship, bad jobs, etc. And then in our external world, to reaffirm our emotional addiction so we can remember as a somebody. Now, the most difficult thing is the long term, is that there is no energy for you to do anything else. So let's suppose a person has a moment of illumination and they say, I'm not going to complain anymore or make excuse or feel sorry for myself or feel guilt, etc. So the body, which has become the mind because he memorized all the emotions that you know, which means the unconscious programs, they start sending signals to the brain, and you will start feeling uncomfortable. You will start feeling unfamiliar. You will start feeling uncertain. And people would hold onto their guilt rather than stepping into the unknown. We know by now, no one like to change, because then at least they can feel something in the familiar, in that familiar, in the known. And you start with good intentions for 2 hours, and all of a sudden, the cells of your body get together and say, hey, wait, you're modified, or we are actually modified to receive more chemicals of guilt. Why don't you start tomorrow? You are not receiving anymore. Tomorrow is a better day. So you start hearing those sounds in your brain. This doesn't feel okay. This is too hard for me. I can't change. Something's wrong with me. It is someone else's fault. And you start blaming people around you and blaming everyone and you start saying, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 10 years ago or 5 years or 2 months ago. But what happens? The most important one is that it doesn't feel right. You start feeling that you're doing something which is not right. And the moment you respond to these signals as if they are true, you go back to your old self because it feels familiar to you. But now, when you change, when you keep going and tapping into that void of what we call it the unknown, the old self into the new self, it is the genetic death of the old self. if you keep on going, changing all the way. And the only way to predict your future is to create it, not from the known, but from the unknown. And you and I, when we get comfortable in the place of the unknown, this is where magic happens. So now I want you to look at question 3. Specify below one thing that you might do to help you move nearer to the step in the normal process of change. So I want you to write one step that could move you forward to that change, wherever you want to go. 30 seconds. So now, if a person has an event in their life and they have been branded emotionally for many years, or in other words, they got knocked out of balance some time ago, and the person wants to make this feeling go away, and they don't know how to change this feeling inside of them. And they will say, I'm going to look for something to make me feel better or to make this feeling go away. And it's going to be something like shopping, sex addiction, gambling, drugs, alcohol, video games, undereating, overeating, whatever you want to call it. You can find too many things. All that stuff produces an immediate internal chemical change. And the moment you notice that, that pain goes away. And you start paying attention to whatever or whoever caused that. So every time a person shops or gambles, the pleasure centers in their brain are going higher and higher. So the next time you gamble or shop, you need a little bit more to turn on those chemicals. So now the pleasure centers become recalibrated to such a high level that if there is no stimulation or higher stimulation, people will feel no pleasure from anything in their life. So behind every substance addiction, there is usually an emotion that is memorized, that becomes part of our identity, and that we don't know how to change it, actually. And now, the survival emotions are when you are knocked out of homeostasis, out of balance. And it comes from emotions, anger, aggression, hatred, judgment, fear, anxiety, insecurity, hopelessness, powerlessness, depression, etc. Those are all the state of consciousness. I call them pretty much the normal stages of consciousness. And all of them are driven by the hormone of stress. So even when we become aware of these destructive emotional perception patterns, breaking out of them and thinking and perceiving a new way requires an effort much like the one an alcoholic or drug addict must go through to break the habit of these addictions, which means it is so hard to change, which means you have to choose to break your habits and implement better habits in your life. And that's what I always tell my clients. Instead of stopping, because to stop is very hard to maintain it, you would have just to change your rituals. So now my question is, why wait? We can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, and we can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Because the body does not know the difference, again, between actual event and experience that it just made by thought alone. So your body believes it's in the same past experience and it's programmed into the past. And you can never change your reality holding on the emotions of the past. If you keep on holding emotions, you can never change. You will always go back to this past, this familiar emotion that is kept you anchored to the past. So when you react to something in your life, you have a choice. When an event changes how you feel, there is a chemical change that is taking place in your body. And most people don't think they can control their emotional reactions. So the moment you react to something in life, like traffic, your boss, your colleague, your husband, you are altered chemically. And if you don't know how to control your emotional reactions, it means that you are a slave of your emotions. So anyone can trigger you easily. And if I can trigger you, it means that I can control you emotionally. You are controlled by me. I can make you happy anytime I want, and I can make you sad anytime I want, and I can make you frustrated, and I can make you unhappy, and all the things that I want you to feel it, I can make you feel it anytime. So this is where emotional intelligence comes in. People from your external environment are controlling how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how many of you started a diet, and after a few days, one of your friends tells you, hey, it's my birthday, please get this piece of cake. And you say, no, 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 I'm okay, I'm on diet, please, thank you so much. And she's like, why, you don't like me, you don't love me? It's my birthday, come on, it's once a year. And then you tell her, no, it's not about you, honey, it's just I don't want to have cake, it's just I don't want to put sugar in my stomach. And she's like, oh, I'm sad, you will eat it. And then you take it. Said, okay, okay, no problem, it's fine. And because you want to please your friend, and she's your best friend, you cannot say no to her. And then you start eating, and then you finish your cake. You start feeling guilty because in your diet, in your mindset, what you said is there is no sugar for like 10 days, few weeks, whatever it is. And then what happens? You go the second day, you want to go to gym, but you don't feel comfortable anymore to go and exercise. And then you miss one day, you miss 2 days, and you miss 3 days, and then you lose sight from your goal. You are not on track anymore. So you sit back and you think about it, and you start eating more and more because this is the punishment you want to give yourself because you couldn't do it. Now, but then you told me earlier you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny. And as long as you are thinking equal to your environment, you keep creating the same life. But to change, to truly change, you would have to think greater than your environment. You would have to think greater than your circumstances. And you would have to think greater than the conditions in your world. How does the brain change, and how does it actually get out of this pattern? That's the most important thing. I explained everything to you, so now you understand what's happening now. This is where to change. There is another principle in neuroscience that says nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together. So as you begin to pay attention to and observe those behaviors that you have demonstrated over and over again, you begin to notice and to become aware of your emotional states that turn on the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, which is covered 40% of your brain, which is the CEO of your brain, which is the creative center. So now we can modify our behavior to do a better job in life. So as long as you begin to observe those programs, it means that you are no longer the program. You are the consciousness observing the program. And you are no longer causing the neurons to fire in the same patterns. And if you don't cause them to communicate, just like any relationship in life, when you break your communication, you break your bond. So we can involve our actions to become somebody else. So now our job is moving from philosopher to initiator to master, is moving to mind, to body, to soul, from moving from knowledge to experience to wisdom, and from thinking to doing to being. So once you apply it, once you embody it, once you make it innate in you, it becomes your second nature. So you don't have to think about leadership. You become leadership. You are leadership. You don't have to think about success. You become success. You are success. So it just becomes who you are. Let me give you an example. You are here today and you are learning new information. It's still philosophy in your thinking brain. You start thinking about it. Now, as you begin to rehearse mentally a new way of being, and you take that knowledge and put yourself into the equation, and you begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain. Once you apply it, once you demonstrate it, once you modify your behavior, you are going to do something differently. So you get your behavior to match your intentions, and actions equal to thoughts. And so you have the mind and body working together now. You are going to have a new experience. And once you have a new experience, you get that chemical, what we call feelings and emotions. And once you repeat this experience over and over again over time, it becomes familiar and it becomes a habit and it becomes a ritual and becomes a standard and it becomes your new self. And that's what we call evolution. Now, how do we put all this together? I would like to introduce Nadine Shammas, she's my client. She's my business partner, to talk more about her own transformation and the program we customized for her to achieve the results she wanted based on her standards, like I said before. Please join me in welcoming Nadine.
Hello. Thank you, Marcelino. And hi to everyone. Actually, I'm so happy to be here and to share not an experience, to share a journey. And back in maybe in February, I met Marcelino by coincidence, but for me, because I believe in synchronicity. So I don't believe in coincidence at all. I believe that everything happens for a reason and every person crosses our path has something for us to teach. So the question is, what is it there for me with Marcelino? So I don't, if you know about me, I am a positive person. I follow a healthy lifestyle. And this is a part of the awareness that I always do, to have a positive mind, to have a happy soul, and to have a healthy body. And during pandemic, what happened is that we all were like holding on lots of emotions. And I was kind of having like a silent depression because all our projects has stopped, canceled, and now we don't know what to do. And I think this is, most of us, we felt the same thing. Usually we are stuck when we have two choices on a crossroads. Shall I take this way or the other way? But what happened during pandemic, we were faced with a dead end. We don't know what to do and how to come over and how to do it. So I met Marcelino for Zumba classes because we wanted to have fun, me and my friends. It was like a very a fun activity. And then by synchronicity, my PT had to leave Lebanon. And I asked Marcelino, can you just continue giving me some PT session until my personal trainer comes? And then he noticed something, that I was training every day and I was following a healthy diet, but yet I was not changing. My body was not changing at all. And I was so upset why I'm not changing, why I'm not able to lose weight. So we sat and we connected because we are both have background in life coaching, and we started talking about what's going on in our lives now. So, and we decided to make a webinar to talk about the learnings of 2020 and how it affected us positively and negatively. And then the journey started when he asked me, what's going on with you? What is out of balance? What are you holding on to? And when are you willing to release it? I said, what? Usually I ask those questions. Nobody asked me these questions. And I realized that, yes, there was lots of emotional baggage and I was not able to process it. Although I'm telling you that we know the process of being healthy is eating healthy, work out, and do mindfulness and yoga. I was doing all this, yet I was not changing and I was still stuck. So what happened is that when we sat and he told me, I want to do a program with you, Nadine, and we will take it slowly. So what do you want to do right now? What do you have now? I said, I have a video clip coming up soon. I wrote a song and I want to be in my video clip, and he told me, how would you like to look? I told him, I have this beautiful dress I want to put, I cannot, it's not fitting at all. I'm going to share my screen for a little bit to show you. So we put a program and we put a date. So every dream turns into a plan, an action plan. So we put a date and he told me, okay, I promise you that in March, no, it was in March, like in 2 months, you will be wearing this dress and you will look fantastic in your video clip and I will be next to you. And so all my state of mind changed now because I put a goal. I projected myself in the future and I saw myself who I want to be. I didn't want to compromise on my look, on my standards, like he was saying. My standards were, I'm a singer, I want to perform, I want to look at my best, I want to be on stage feeling confident and not worrying about how do I look. I just want to perform. So we put the schedule, the program, and he put for me lots of do's and don'ts. I said, it's okay, I'll do it, whatever it takes, I wanna do it. And we started mindfulness, yoga, coaching, and every day it was like rewiring new emotions and new neurons in my mind, and I was feeling so happy and I was balanced. So my mind and body are working together now to fulfill my soul, because the soul is always wild and want to have fun and play. And I felt that I'm really transforming from the inside. Actually, not only transforming, just revealing who I am, who I want to be. And everything from the environment didn't matter anymore. It was all about me, my own transformation. The one purpose to do that was me. I put myself priority. So that was in March when we did the webinar, and we connected mentally. Okay, and we started more and more wanting to create an awareness, to create a program, to show people that, yes, we can change. Yet, we wanted the proof. But it was not only like, we have to show you the proof. It was a process, it was a journey, and the result showed up after a few months, like amazingly. And when people start seeing you from the outside changing, you get more and more inspired and more determined to continue. And this is one of my mission, to be an inspiration, to inspire people to take that action and do the change. It's not the first time in my life that I've been doing a transformation. 6 years back, I had to do a transformation. But my question is always like this: do we want to wait until we are forced to change, or we want to function from a place of awareness that it is important for us to have a mind and body and soul balanced? Do we want to feel balanced and aligned with our life purpose? So life always forces us to act by force. So now we want to start acting from a place of peace and freedom and love and acceptance, and reveal exactly who we are. And transformation, it's who we are, we truly are, authentic self, connecting to who we really want to be. And then we started reflecting. I told you about our journey. We reflected on who we are and who we want to do, who we want to be, what we were gonna do. And we put a new flavor for our life. For when I was like in the pandemic having nothing to do, from someone that has a lot to do to someone have nothing to do. And now I have a new breath that no, we still can create and we still can do something nice. And it all starts from within, from us. And it's in the silence that we hear our voice. And in silence, we can connect to who we truly are and be who we want to be, who we've always been. It's not about the environment anymore. It's not about how to define ourselves, like you said at the beginning. We are not defined by what we are, but we are defined by who we are. I am a person. I have dreams that I want to make them reality, and I exist. I want to use all my talents to inspire and to be at service, and to help myself at the beginning, to change the people around me, and my close friends, my family, and everyone else. So putting a vision where we want to be, where we are heading to. I had my clip, my video clip, and I want to tell you a short a story that I write my own songs. And during pandemic, I wrote a very sad songs. It was the expression of what I was going through, and that song that we produced, "Live the Moments." It's live the moment. Actually, everything that we are going through, we all are left by a moment. Now, what I want to do. Now, what I have. Who is in my life right now? And what do I feel? Connecting to the moment. And the song is Live the Moment. So we achieved that goal. We had an amazing time producing and doing the song and the video clip. And I want to tell you also that the video clip was something very like hard for me. I've been singing for more than 20 years, and only during pandemic I decided to do that, because all I was thinking before is how the people will see it. Will the audience like it? Will they love what I'm doing? And then when I turned the question to inward, and I said, how do I want to feel? And how does this will make me feel? So I did it. So everything is starts from the inside. When I don't have expectation, I'm not doing this just to please or expecting people to love me or to love the song. I did it because that was really what I was feeling. I was feeling that I was happy, I'm living the moment, and this is what we all want to have, to appreciate the moment and be present. And that dress that I told you about, well, it fit perfectly. And the journey continues. That was maybe phase one of transformation, but actually we continue with the same rituals, but now more and more with the right state of mind, of balance, of creating, inspiring. And I'm very happy that I've done this transformation. Actually, this is exactly who I wanted to look like. Yes, the picture that I had in my mind was like this. And you know, when you have a picture in your mind and you see it in front of your eyes, then dreams and reality are together. So this is where you have this pleasure and satisfaction and happiness to continue to move forward, to transform and be at peace. So yes, transformation is not becoming someone else, but it's revealing who you truly are. And what we've done, we created that program, we documented everything, and starting from the right state of mind. Everything else will be just like a plan, but starting from the right state of mind, this is where the change will happen. Thank you so much, Marcelino, for you.
Well, thank you, Nadine, for this lovely experience that you shared with everyone, and thank you for involving me in this. Well, yes, I agree with Nadine. I totally agree with Nadine that change comes from within, and you have to decide to change. And you always have to find a purpose in your life. So finding a purpose is what inspires you, what keeps you going, what wakes you up every single morning. And I know by now my purpose is life, is changing people's life. That's what I do every single morning. Since I was 22 years old, that's what I do. There is direct um,
Can I add
transformation for people. Yeah,
Can I
sure.
add something about Marcelino? Okay, Marcelino is not only a life coach, he's not a trainer. Actually, he is a life changer. And this is something that not everyone has it. This is a gift. And I have to say it that wherever he is, he makes change, either consciously or subconsciously. So I want to thank him a lot for being in and supporting me in my journey, and also that he was a very highly intuitive person that understood quickly what was going on and fixed it also immediately. So thank you again.
That's
Well,
great, and
no,
it's just on time, actually. First of all, I just want to interject and thank you both for the amazing information that has been shared. I know how difficult it is to really transform yourself on the levels that you had discussed. But the same way we have targets and goals to improve professionally, I think it is mandatory for us to set targets and goals for us to change and transform internally by really synchronizing the mind, the body, and the soul. It is essential for us to do so because times are hard and things are becoming more and more complex and life has become more and more stressful, and we have to get used to this crazy the crazy pace at which things are unfolding. I just want to mention one thing to the audience. Of course, the contacts of Marcelino and Nadine are already in the chat box. We did include their social media handles. Please make sure you follow them. Make sure you reach out to them or to us as a council. Should you wish further information, should you want to be connected with them for personal matters or developmental matters, that's absolutely no problem at all. This is why we're here. I also want to mention that we will be launching a one-day retreat shortly in November. The details of the venue, of the date, of the agenda, and everything with it will be announced once it's finalized, but it's certainly happening towards mid-November. Please stay tuned. Follow the three of us, the council, Nadine and Marcelino, or for Euphoria Empire to find out more details around that retreat. I also want to mention that for those who don't know much about the Dubai Businesswomen Council, we are a non-profit organization that falls under the umbrella of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. So what we do is we are a platform that represents the working women or the business women community of Dubai, locally and internationally. And we have a series of initiatives and activities that happen all year long. So transformational webinars, transformational workshops, seminars, forums, initiatives on entrepreneurship, mentorship, and diversity and inclusion are things that we take to the heart, and we are very passionate about them. We have a very busy schedule around the year. If you are a professional woman, whether you are a working woman or a business owner or even an entrepreneur who just started a business, and you're looking for a platform to connect with great facilitators and people like Nadine and Marcelino and other business and industry experts, the Dubai Businesswomen Council is the connecting link to you. Please reach out to us for more information. Happy to do so. I don't believe we have any questions, but I'm just opening the chat box now. We do have a comment from Muriel asking, yes, it can take up a lifetime to know or understand who we are, but can we understand faster? Does any of our facilitators would like to attend to this question?
Yes, definitely. I would answer this question by doing a very quick meditation. Can I, please? So I want you, before we finish, I would totally answer your question, Muriel. I want you to sit back, relax, and I will explain to you how can you understand more. So relax, breathe in, breathe out, close your eyes, and just listen to my voice. I will be explaining to you something about meditation, what meditation is. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So when you become familiar with your unconscious thoughts, when you begin to notice and become familiar with your unconscious habits, and you begin to become familiar with your unconscious emotions and feelings, if you are knowing yourself, that's meditation. Now, most people don't want to light a match in a dark place. They would rather turn on the TV or get on their computer to try to make that feeling go away. So the process of change, first you have to become familiar with the old self. So you're going into the operating system of your subconscious mind and bring it into the consciousness, which is the awareness, so that you know that it would never slip by unchecked you. Then if you said, let me remind myself of who I want to be, and you begin to think in new ways, and you begin to plan your behaviors, and you even become so involved in that experience that the thought becomes the experience of you, and you begin to feel like the new ideal. Now, you would get up, not at the same person who sat down, because if you got up and it's the same person who sat down, nothing has happened in the quantum field, neurologically, biologically, chemically, genetically, which means you haven't changed anything in your thinking brain. And so you have to get up as somebody else. And when you get up as somebody else in that new state of being, that's when the true change occurs. You're broadcasting a whole new electromagnetic signature. And if you can maintain that modified state of being, state of mind and body, your entire day, get ready, because your life is about to change. Then you would become familiar with the new self as well. When you begin to become familiar with the new self, you're still meditating. And you're saying, I'm wiring a new mind, and I'm conditioning my body emotionally. So I think that will concludes it all.
Thank you so much, Marcelino. Thank you for the valuable insight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your passion to transform people and make them better. I know personally how much of a great job you're doing and how dedicated you are about really making a change. I also know how passionate Nadine is about love and balance and mindfulness and staying positive. I know her on a personal level and on a professional level. So it was a pleasure to have you both here with us this morning. For everybody who joined, thank you so much for making the time. I hope you found this very useful. There was a question about the retreat. We don't have the finalized date. We will be announcing it very shortly. Stay tuned and you will find out all the details with regards to that. And we hope to see you there. We actually look forward to seeing a lot of the names of those who joined us this morning at the actual retreat. Ladies and gents, once again, I wish you all a great day. Nadine and Marcelino, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your valuable insight and your time. Good luck, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.